I was holding my dead baby when my husband handed me divorce papers. 6.5 months pregnant. Emergency C-section. My son took one breath and stopped. I was still bleeding, still crying, still trying to understand that he was gone. That's when Elijah walked in. No hug, no comfort. Just a black folder. Sign these. That baby wasn't mine anyway. 7 years later, he saw me again. Successful, married, 5 kids, happy, and he broke down begging for me back. This is my story, and it gets wild. I'm Kai, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button because this one's going to wreck you. Let's go. Part 1. I was 19 when my life changed forever. It was a random Tuesday in November, around 2 in the morning. I was living in this run-down apartment building in Queens. It's the kind where the rent was cheap because everything was falling apart. The heating barely worked. The pipes groaned like they were dying. And the landlord ignored every complaint. That night, I woke up choking. Smoke, thick, black, suffocating smoke. I tried to get up, but my room was already filled with it. The hallway outside was worse. Flames were crawling up the walls like some kind of monster, blocking the door. The window? That was my only option. I tried to climb out, but the fire caught me. My clothes ignited. The right side of my body, my face, my neck, my chest, my arm, my leg, everything just erupted in pain. I don't remember much after that. Just screaming. And then nothing. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital bed. The doctors told me I was lucky. Lucky to be alive. 3rd-degree burns over 40% of my body. They did what they could, skin grafts, surgeries, treatments. But when I finally saw myself in the mirror, I didn't recognize the person staring back. The left side of my face was still me. Same brown eyes, same jaw, same cheekbone. But the right side. It was a patchwork of red, angry scars. Raised tissue. Discolored skin. I looked like 2 different people stitched together. The modeling agencies I'd been reaching out to. They stopped responding. The photographers who'd shown interest. Radio silence. My dreams of making it in fashion died in that fire. Or at least, that's what I thought. Part 2. 2 years passed. I was 21, working at a coffee shop in Manhattan. I'd learned to hide my scars pretty well by then. Long sleeves, high collars, hairstyled to cover the right side of my face. Most customers didn't even notice. And the ones who did? They usually just stared and looked away. But then he walked in. Elijah Monroe. Tall, sharp features, perfectly tailored suit. He had that kind of confidence that fills a room. He ordered an espresso, and while I was making it, I felt his eyes on me. Not the usual stare people give when they notice my scars. Something different. "You have incredible bone structure," he said when I handed him his drink. I blinked. Nobody had called me incredible in 2 years. "Excuse me. I'm serious. I'm a fashion designer. Elijah Monroe. Maybe you've heard of Elysian Couture, a Thai, head, small but rising brand known for edgy, artistic designs." I nodded. I'm always looking for interesting faces. Unique, real. "You interested in modeling?" I almost laughed. But something in his expression stopped me. He wasn't joking. "I don't think I'm what you're looking for." "Why not?" I hesitated, then tilted my head slightly, letting my hair fall back. Showing him the scars I usually kept hidden. He didn't flinch. Didn't look away. Instead, he leaned forward, studying my face like it was a piece of art. "Perfect," he said softly. "You're exactly what I'm looking for." That's how it started. He hired me for a photo shoot. Then another. Then he made me the face of his new collection. He called it Phoenix Rising Designs, inspired by rebirth, survival, transformation. The fashion world ate it up, and somewhere along the way, Elijah and I fell in love. Or at least, I thought we did. He courted me like something out of a romance novel. Dinners at restaurants I couldn't pronounce. Weekend trips to the Hamptons. He told me I was beautiful. That my scars made me more interesting, more real. He bonded with me, made me his Omega, his mate. We got married 6 months later in a small ceremony in Central Park. For the first time since the fire, I felt whole. Like maybe I deserved happiness after all. But here's the thing about fairy tales. They never tell you what happens when the clock strikes midnight and the magic wears off. Part 3. Her name was Vanessa Cartwright, supermodel. 6 feet tall, blonde, flawless skin, the kind of face that belongs on billboards. She'd been Elijah's star model before me. And according to office gossip, maybe more than that. When Elijah and I got serious, I expected her to leave. Find another designer, another brand. But she stayed. Elijah said it was business, that she was too valuable to let go. That I was being insecure. Maybe I was. But Omegas have instincts. And mine were screaming. Vanessa was subtle at first. Backhanded compliments in front of other models. "Oh, Kai, that outfit is so brave. I could never pull off showing that much skin." Little comments about how I should try more coverage for certain shoots. Suggestions that maybe I'd be better suited for behind-the-scenes work. I endured it. Because Elijah believed in me. Because I was his muse, his Omega, his husband. Because I thought love was enough. Then I got pregnant. 6 months into our marriage. I remember staring at the positive test, hands shaking, heart pounding. We hadn't been trying, but we hadn't been preventing either. When I told Elijah, he was overjoyed. Started designing a nursery immediately. Talking about baby names. Our future. I was terrified and thrilled at the same time. I'd never imagined becoming a parent, especially not after the fire. But holding that positive test, feeling the tiny flutter of life inside me, I felt hope bloom in my chest. Vanessa, though. She looked at my growing belly like I'd personally betrayed her. That's when things got bad. Part 4. I was 7 months pregnant when everything fell apart. It was a Thursday evening. I'd gone to Elijah's office to bring him dinner. He'd been working late on the spring collection. But when I got there, I heard voices. Angry voices. I stopped outside the door. Kive, I can't keep quiet about this anymore. That was Vanessa. Her voice was shaking, like she was crying. It's about Kai. My hand instinctively went to my belly. Protective. What about him? Elijah sounded tired. I saw him. Last week. At that private clinic on 5th Avenue. The dermatology place that does cosmetic procedures. So, he sees doctors all the time for his scars. That's the thing, Elijah. These weren't medical appointments. I heard him on the phone afterward. He was talking about maintaining the image and keeping the bookings coming. Don't you get it? He's been using his scars. Using your sympathy. Using this whole inspirational survivor story to build his career. And now he's using that baby to trap you. Silence. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. That's ridiculous. Kai wouldn't. There's more. Vanessa's voice dropped. You know Dr. Chen? His dermatologist. I've seen them together. Multiple times. At restaurants, laughing, touching. Elijah. What if that baby isn't even yours? I felt like I'd been punched. Every word was a lie. Dr. Raphael Chen was my burn specialist. The clinic visits were for pain management because pregnancy hormones made my scar tissue inflame and ache. We'd never met outside appointments. Never touched beyond professional examinations. But standing there, 7 months pregnant, listening to those lies poison my husband's mind, I couldn't speak. Couldn't defend myself. I just stood frozen. The door opened. Elijah's eyes met mine, and for the first time since we met, I saw doubt. "How long have you been standing there?" "Elijah," my voice cracked. "Please, let me explain." "Explain what?" His voice was cold. So cold. "Explain why you've been sneaking around. Why Vanessa saw you at that clinic. Why you never told me about these appointments." "Because I didn't want to worry you. The pain's been getting worse, and Dr. Chen was helping me manage it. That's all. I swear, Elijah, I've never— Is the baby even mine, Kai?" 6 words. That's all it took to destroy me. The room started spinning. Pain exploded in my abdomen. Sharp, blinding, wrong. I looked down, blood soaking through my pants. "Elijah!" I gasped. Something's wrong. Everything after that is a blur. The ambulance. The hospital. Doctors shouting medical terms. Bright lights. Pain. So much pain. And through it all, Elijah standing in the corner. Arms crossed. Face like stone. Not holding my hand. Not comforting me. Just watching like I was a stranger. Part 5. They performed an emergency C-section. 6.5 months. Too early. Way too early. I remember hearing him cry. Just once. A weak, tiny sound. Then silence. "I'm so sorry," the doctor said gently. His lungs weren't developed enough. We did everything we could. Our son. He weighed 2 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect tiny fingers. Closed eyes, but no breath. No future. They cleaned him, wrapped him in a blue blanket, and placed him in my arms. He was still warm. For 10 minutes, I held my dead child. Memorized his face. Kissed his forehead. Elijah never touched him. Never asked to hold him. Just stood there, staring at the wall. When they took my baby away, I wanted to die too. The next 12 hours are fragmented. Nurses checking vitals. Pain medication. Grief counselors speaking in soft voices. I couldn't process any of it. My arms felt empty. My body felt like a tomb. Then Elijah walked in. He wasn't alone. His lawyer was with him. He placed a black folder on my lap. Divorce papers. "Sign them." I stared at him. Surely I'd heard wrong. Surely my husband, who'd just lost his son, wasn't doing this. Not now, not here. What? You heard me. I don't know whose child that was, but it wasn't mine. You used me, Kai. Your scars, your sob story, everything. I won't be your fool anymore. Sign the papers and get out of my life. Something inside me broke. Not my heart that was already shattered. Something deeper. My sense of self, maybe. The part of me that believed I deserved love. With shaking hands, I picked up the pen. And through tears that wouldn't stop, I signed away 2 years of marriage, a lifetime of promises, and the grave of our son. Elijah took the papers, looked at me one last time with those cold, empty eyes, and walked out. I was discharged 2 days later. No home to go to. We'd been living in Elijah's penthouse. No job. I'd been working exclusively for Elysian Couture. No family. I'd been in foster care before aging out. I left New York with 1 suitcase and a broken heart. Part 6. I ended up in Portland, Oregon. Random choice. Cheap rent. Far from New York, far from everything. For 6 months, I did nothing but survive. Got a job at a bookstore. Saw a therapist twice a week. Joined a support group for pregnancy loss. Another for burn survivors. Slowly, painfully, I started to heal. That's where I met him. Dr. Nolan Rivers, dermatologist. He volunteered at the burn survivors group, offering free consultations for scar treatment. Soft-spoken, kind eyes, gentle hands. Nothing like Elijah's sharp edges and cold intensity. We started talking after meetings. Just casual conversation at first. He never pushed, never asked invasive questions. Just listened. "You're stronger than you think," he told me once. "Most people would have crumbled under what you've been through. But you're still standing." "Barely," I admitted. Barely is enough. Some days, barely is everything. We became friends. Then more. Nolan never saw me as broken. Never treated my scars like something to fix or hide. He saw me. All of me 2 years into our relationship, he proposed. Not with roses and a big speech. Just quiet certainty. "I love you, Kai. I want to spend my life with you. If you'll have me." I said yes. Part 7. We got married in a small ceremony. Just us, the officiant, and Nolan's sister. Simple, perfect. A year later, we became foster parents. Our first placement was for siblings. Emma, 12. Marcus, 9. Sophia, 7. And twins Jasper and Riley, both 4. All burn survivors from a house fire that killed their parents. The system wanted to split them up. Send them to different homes. We refused. "They've already lost everything," Nolan said to the caseworker. "We're not letting them lose each other too." It wasn't easy. Emma had nightmares. Marcus flinched at loud noises. Sophia wouldn't talk for the first month. The twins cried for their mom every night, but we showed up. Every single day. We helped with scar care, went to therapy appointments, sat with them during panic attacks. Slowly, they started to trust us. Then came Zoe, Nolan's 6-year-old daughter from his previous marriage. Her mother had passed away from cancer before Nolan and I met, and Zoe had been living with her grandparents. But when they got too old to care for her, she came to us. At first, she was shy around me, unsure of this new papa with scars on his face. But kids are resilient. Within weeks, she was holding my hand. Within months, she was calling me Papa Kai. 5 kids. A blended, chaotic, beautiful family, and somewhere in the chaos of school pickups and scraped knees and bedtime stories, I realized something. I was happy. Truly, deeply happy. The past felt like another lifetime. I rarely thought about Elijah anymore, about the son I'd lost. Not because I'd forgotten, you never forget, but because I'd learned to carry the grief without letting it consume me. I also started something new. Ashford Advocacy, a modeling agency for people with visible differences. Burns, scars, disabilities, skin conditions, birthmarks. We represented the people mainstream agencies rejected. Within 3 years, we became one of the most respected agencies in the country. I even started modeling again. Not to hide, but to show the world that beauty looks different for everyone. Life was good, really good, until I got the invitation. Part 8. 7 years after the divorce, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Hello?" "Hi, is this Kai Rivers?" Professional voice. Polished. Double quotes. "Yes." "This is Jessica Chen from the New York Fashion Week Committee. We'd like to honor you with our Trailblazer Award for your work in inclusive fashion." My blood went cold. New York. Elijah's city. His world. I appreciate the offer, but before you say no, please know this award is a big deal. Prime time ceremony. Press coverage. It would be huge for Ashford Advocacy's visibility. She was right. This could change everything for the agency. For our models, but going back to New York, facing that city again. Can I think about it? Of course, but we need an answer by next week. I talked to Nolan that night. Expected him to tell me to decline, but he surprised me. "You should go, Nolan Kai. You've spent 7 years building something incredible. Don't let the past steal this moment from you. What if I see him?" Then you see him. And you remember how far you've come, how much you've survived. He doesn't own that city. He doesn't own your story. He paused, then smiled. Besides, we're coming with you. All of us. Part 9, the night of the award ceremony. I stood in our hotel room, adjusting my tie. I'd chosen a custom suit that left my scars visible. No more hiding. Nolan came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist. You look amazing. I look scared. You look brave. There's a difference. The kids burst in, dressed to the nines. Emma in a sleek black dress. Marcus and Sophia in matching suits. The twins in tiny tuxedos. Zoe in a purple gown she'd picked herself. Papa Kai, we're ready. Riley announced. Let's do this, I said. The venue was massive. Crystal chandeliers, red carpets, photographers everywhere. We walked in together, and immediately I felt eyes on us. Not just on me, but on our whole family. I kept my head high, smiled, shook hands with industry people. Accepted congratulations. Then I saw him. Across the room. Talking to a group of designers. Elijah Monroe. 7 years older. Still handsome. Still wearing that perfectly tailored suit-like armor. And next to him? Vanessa Cartwright. Our eyes met. For one frozen second, time stopped. Then Riley tugged my hand. Papa Kai, I'm hungry. Can we get food? I tore my gaze away. Yeah, baby. Let's go. We headed toward the catering area. I thought we'd avoided them. But fate had other plans. As we were walking through the hall, Vanessa stepped directly into our path, deliberately. Oh my God. Her voice dripped false sweetness. Kai Ashford. I felt Nolan tense beside me. The kids moved closer. It's Kai Rivers now, I said calmly. She looked me up and down. Then her eyes landed on the kids. And who are all these? Children. Our kids, I said simply. She laughed. Actually laughed. Kids, you? The last time I saw you, Kai, you couldn't even keep one baby alive. And now you're playing house with what is this? 5? The room went silent. People nearby stopped talking. Phones came out. How many of these are actually yours? Vanessa continued, voice cruel. Or did you just collect a bunch of strays to complete your little pity party? Before I could respond, my kids moved. All 5 of them stepped in front of me, forming a protective wall. Don't talk to our papa like that. Emma's voice was fierce. You're mean? Sophia shouted. Bad lady. The twins yelled in unison. Zoe's eyes filled with tears. My Papa Kai is the best person ever. Marcus just glared at her with pure rage. My heart swelled. These kids. My kids. Then Elijah's voice cut through the chaos. Vanessa, that's enough. We're leaving. But I was done. Done running. Done staying quiet? No. My voice rang out loud and clear. Let her talk. Let everyone hear exactly who Vanessa Cartwright really is. The crowd pressed closer. Phones recording everything. 7 years ago, this woman destroyed my marriage with lies. I locked eyes with Vanessa. She told my husband I was faking my disability for sympathy. That I was having an affair with my doctor. That the baby I was carrying wasn't his. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The stress from her accusations caused me to go into premature labor. My son died. He was 6.5 months old. And while I was lying in a hospital bed, still bleeding, still grieving, my husband handed me divorce papers. I turned to Elijah. He'd gone pale. You believed her. Without proof. Without even asking me for the truth. You looked at me, your bonded mate, carrying your child, and decided I was a liar. You watched our son die and felt nothing. You threw me away like garbage. Kai, Elijah's voice cracked. I didn't know she was lying. I found out later. I tried to find you. I don't care. I cut him off. You want to know why? Because that pain, that betrayal, that loss brought me here. To him, I gestured to Nolan. This is Dr. Nolan Rivers, my husband. The man who saw me at my absolute lowest and loved me anyway. The man who helped me raise 5 incredible children. The man who taught me that real love doesn't doubt. It doesn't abandon. It doesn't break promises. Nolan stepped forward, arm sliding protectively around my waist. And for the record, Nolan said, voice calm but dangerous. Anyone who speaks to my husband or our children like that again will be hearing from our lawyers. We don't tolerate bullying or slander. The crowd burst into applause. Security moved in, escorting a screaming Vanessa toward the exit. Elijah stood frozen, staring at me like I was a ghost. I looked at him one last time. I forgive you. Not for you, for me, so I can let go completely. But understand this. You will never be part of my life again. I have everything I need right here. I looked down at my kids. They were hugging my legs, looking up at me with so much love. Let's go home, I said softly, and we walked out. Together, I didn't look back once. Part 10. 3 months later, we were back in Portland. Life returned to normal. School runs, family dinners, chaos and laughter and love. We finalized the adoption papers for Emma, Marcus, Sophia, Jasper, and Riley. They were officially, legally, permanently ours. Ashford advocacy exploded after Fashion Week. The video of our confrontation went viral. We got calls from models all over the country. People with disabilities, scars, differences. People who'd been told they weren't enough. We told them they were. As for Elijah and Vanessa, Vanessa's career imploded. Every agency dropped her. No designer would work with her. She tried to apologize publicly, but the damage was done. Elijah's company, Elysian Couture, faced boycotts. He sent emails, texts, even showed up at our agency once. Nolan had security escort him out. I never responded. There was nothing left to say. One night, about 6 months after Fashion Week, I was putting the twins to bed. Riley looked up at me with those big brown eyes. Papa Kai. Yeah, baby. Are you happy? I smiled, kissed his forehead. So happy, Riley. The happiest I've ever been. Good, 'cause we love you. I love you too. So much. After they fell asleep, I went downstairs. Nolan was in the kitchen doing dishes. I wrapped my arms around him from behind. Hey, he said softly. Hey, yourself? Kid's asleep. Finally, he turned, pulling me close. You okay? You've been quiet tonight. I'm perfect. Just thinking about how lucky I am. How different my life is now compared to 7 years ago. Nolan cupped my face gently, thumb brushing over my scars. You're not lucky, Kai. You survived. You fought. You built this life with your own hands. That's not luck. That's strength. I kissed him. Soft and slow. I love you, Nolan Rivers. I love you too, Kai Rivers. Forever. From upstairs, we heard a crash. Then Emma's voice. Marcus, you broke the lamp. Marcus, it was an accident. Sophia, Papa Nolan, Papa Kai. Marcus is in trouble. We looked at each other and laughed. Duty calls, Nolan said. Yeah, it does. We headed upstairs together. Our chaotic, beautiful, imperfect family waiting for us. And I realized something. Scars don't define you. Loss doesn't own you. Betrayal doesn't break you. You define yourself. You own your story. You decide who you become. I'd been through fire. Twice. But I didn't just survive. I rose, and I'm still rising. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If this story touched your heart, Please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me what part hit you the hardest. What would you have done in Kai's situation? I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you all. Remember, your scars, whatever they are, don't make you less. They make you a survivor. Until next time, stay strong, stay loved, and keep rising.